What's going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Wednesday edition of the Pandemic Update for Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, well, this is where we do the daily pandemic update here on YouTube. Of course, I'm away right now on vacation, but you know what? The news does not stop. The pandemic does not stop. Other viruses are always evolving. It is an extremely busy news day today. You'll find out if you stick around for this video that we are going to talk about several different things, and you need to be informed with what's going on. I do that here each and every day, and who knows, with the way things are going, we may actually end up not missing a single day during this trip just because it is that crazy right now. Want to be informed with everything that's going on? Subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share these videos with anyone you know, and of course leave a comment down below. As I just said, it is a busy day, so let's not waste any time. Starting off with Mpox in Las Vegas at a county jail. Yes, someone has tested positive for Mpox. It is unclear at this point how that case came to be, whether someone came to visit who was positive or a guard at the correctional facility had Mpox. It is unclear. Of course, this is going to be something that hopefully we get some more information about as time goes on. In Madrid, Spain, they have recorded 162 Mpox cases so far year to date, a sharp rise compared to 38 cases during the same period in 2023. 99% of those cases involve males aged 30 to 49, all clade 2, and I should mention that case in Las Vegas, we do not know if it is clade 2 or clade 1B as of yet. Over in Vietnam, they are concerned about an outbreak of measles that is quickly starting to grow, and it says it's a rapid increase in infections, and they have already reported 3 fatalities with this outbreak. So, yes, not a good situation there. Vietnam, that is for measles. In Ottawa, Canada, they are noting that wastewater levels are starting to rise once again for the COVID virus, thanks to the KP 3.1.1 variant. And yes, it's very problematic. It's why here in the United States things are dropping, but they're not dropping that fast. It's slow to drop, and you'll see in some states later on that while we're not going up anymore, we're also, like I just said, not dropping that much. So that is in Canada. Here in the United States, it is an election year. We've been following the Democratic National Convention, which did turn into a super spreader. Well, there's someone else who has now tested positive. You know, when you do campaigns for elections, they're very costly, so they have to do fundraisers. Well, there was supposed to be a fundraiser in the Hamptons, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was supposed to be there. However, she has tested positive for COVID. You know Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton's wife, former President Bill Clinton. Yes, she was also the First Lady at one time. She tested positive for COVID sometime on Monday, August 26, 2024, and had to cancel her appearance at an election fundraiser in the Hamptons at the time of testing positive. She is 76 years old, and I should have put a note in here. There is only one article that is actually talking about this case, and that is coming from page 6. And reminder, I'm just noticing here, Steve, my moderator on my site, just added a comment stating about how she attended the Democratic National Convention. We don't know if that case is actually connected or not. It could be. Who knows? But it has been quite some time, and if it has been that long, wow, that's not a good thing. That's a long period of time from exposure to eventually testing positive. That would be concerning. All right, the triple E virus, we're going to call it by that name. That is one of the names of it. But the triple E virus, it's continuing to be a problem. And in New Hampshire, a man has now died. It is actually making local news up here in the state of Maine, where I'm at right now. But yes, a person has actually died of the triple E virus in New Hampshire, and that is concerning. It is a virus that is spread by mosquitoes. Now, here in New England, things have gotten a little bit drier recently. There could be some thunderstorms over the weekend. My advice to you is, if you live in an area and let's say you have some buckets or something outside, if you have any standing water, if you could get rid of that any way possible, please do that, because mosquitoes love standing water. That is how they breed, and if you could eliminate that, please do so. And if you live in an area where it's like swampy, lakes like here, there's a lake to my right now. If there's a lot of lakes around and you know it's a mosquito prone area, please wear mosquito repellents, bug spray, long sleeves, long pants. I'm currently wearing long pants other than when I'll be going swimming. And if you could wear long sleeves and long pants, that would be really a good idea, especially if you're going to be walking in the woods for multiple reasons. We know about the mosquito problem, but there's also ticks. Ticks are a problem, not just here in New England, but in many places around the country. All right, moving on. We have a ton more things to get through. Taking a look at heat-related illnesses, they have gotten slightly better in the north, still a problem in the south, still a problem in the west. Pennsylvania has gotten a lot better. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a resurgence there a little bit next week, just because it's very hot back home in my state, my home state of Pennsylvania right now, and a lot of places like Iowa. You're very hot. Illinois is very hot right now as well. So yeah, heat-related illnesses, they're probably ongoing, and you're going to see Montgomery County, Pennsylvania in a couple minutes. If it's as busy as it was before I started recording, oh my, not good. National Allergy Map. Let's refresh this to make sure it's up to date. Don't think we have to, though. 41% of the country is in medium to high status for pollen levels at this time, and we can see here the Midwest, back across through to the Mid-Atlantic, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, even up into southern New England. Very high levels of pollen. I probably should be taking my allergy medicine today, just for the heck of it, but although you can see further north up here, it is a little better. Down in Florida, not too bad, and the West Coast is not terrible today. Taking a look at what is going on with air qualities, there are still problems with air qualities in quite a few places in the east at this time. It will get a little bit better towards the north as an area of high pressure is eventually going to push in and cleanse the atmosphere, but you can see the Carolinas, it's taken forever to load, and that's normal for this website. You can see here, generally about Massachusetts on southwestward is dealing with air quality, so please, if you're an asthma sufferer, please make sure you have your rescue inhaler with you. You will need that because you could suffer an asthma attack, whether it be just regular asthma or asthma that's caused by allergies, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure that you have that on hand in case you do have breathing problems. And the West Coast in California, we do note here there are some bad air qualities today. Taking a look at my other place where I talk about things, sometimes anyhow, which is Climate Data Report, where I talk about climate and weather, and that is over on X. Philadelphia yesterday, I'm happy to report that the number of EMS calls was down compared to Monday. 796 EMS incidents were reported, and now I have to show you this, which it will eventually come up. And yeah, take a look at this. A whole slew of EMS calls right now in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. I see not one, not two, three respiratory calls, and just a general mixing of other things. Currently, there are 19 calls. There were 20 before I started recording this video, and wow, take a look at what's going on in Chester County, Pennsylvania. Not one, not two, not three, but four respiratory emergency difficulty calls right now. And let's go back to the air quality map for a second. Well, it's not going to come up, but the air quality is bad in southeast Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, but at the same time, you can't attribute it to all that. Maybe some people just had COVID. Now they have long COVID, or they actively have COVID. And if we go back to something we took a look at yesterday, we see that there are now large increases for COVID in wastewater in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. While there's no change in Chester County, it is increasing in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and Upper Montgomery County. So that's something concerning. When you see the increases in wastewater and a ton of EMS calls, many for which are respiratory issues, breathing difficulty, that is relatively concerning. And yeah, it's rising once again. COVID, no doubt about it. It is a problem right now. Something else that is a problem as well. Let's head over to my notes for today, and we'll get to the other thing in just a moment. First off, Maine News is reporting on an increase in COVID cases being comparable to 2022. I've seen it online, seen it on TV. I briefly got to watch the news on TV. It made the news up here. Masking in CVS and COVID booster shots. What's that about? Well, I went out and did a couple deliveries this morning. A couple on DoorDash, one for Rhodey where I delivered a prescription, although the person wasn't home. The point being made is, when I went to CVS, I was a little surprised. I'm assuming they just got the new booster shot in, because there were a lot of people in there, back at the pharmacy department, going for booster shots. But I also saw the majority of the pharmacists were masked. So they know COVID cases here in Maine are on the increase, or were on the increase. So I thought that was relatively interesting. All right, here's the other thing that could be causing an increase in respiratory calls in Pennsylvania: pertussis, otherwise known as whooping cough. In Pennsylvania this year, I just saw a new news story from back at home. Pennsylvania has had 1,666 pertussis cases so far this year. New Jersey reports 128 of them. That's back to pre-COVID levels, maybe even slightly higher. Pennsylvania, I'm concerned about that number being so high. All right, some COVID data provided by CJS 83172 on YouTube, otherwise known as Charles. And Florida, for yesterday, reported 1,747 new cases and 6 new deaths, and 6,577 cases, and a net of 96 deaths were added since Friday. That's still a lot of deaths. Florida, you need to get your act together. I mean, that's just far too many. New York State, yesterday we saw was 1,273. We'll have a new number on that in just a moment. Maryland, this is a weekly number, 2,476 new cases were added, about steady over the past couple of weeks, and they added yet another 25 new deaths. Here in Maine, we talked about cases going up, and they did go up again. 619 new cases and 2 new deaths were added. Michigan for the past week added, wow, another 4,255 new cases and 14 new deaths. And this is at a time where, people do the at-home test or don't test at all. Not a lot of people go out to get the PCR test or go to a drugstore to get a test. So that's concerning to see numbers this high, my friends. All right, going back now to our web browser here to take a look at some more data, and we can see in Canada, the COVID viral activity level is high, flu A is low, flu B is not being detected, RSV level is low at this time. Taking a look at Walgreens, I think we will take a look at just a couple states here, because I do want to briefly look at the national wastewater level on Wastewater Scan. That is if Walgreens ever decides to load. Here we go. The national positivity trend rate this week for COVID is 34.5%. The prior week was 37%. Difference of down 2.5%. Total test, it's the highest we've seen all summer, 14,223. The prior week was 13,913. And let's just take a look at a couple states here. First off, we'll take a look at Iowa, which, according to the map, green is a good thing. They are trending in the right direction, and boy, are they ever. 31.6% positivity rate for COVID. The prior week was 47.5%. That's a difference of down 16%. Total test, 57 versus 61. Let's go down to Georgia, which does appear to be improving at this point. 31.4% positivity rate. The prior week is 33%. That is down by 1.7%, which is some good news. 909 tests versus 981. And I am seeing some red in Rhode Island. Let's see if we can get Rhode Island to come up and find out what's going on there. Yikes, I don't like this. 35.5% positivity rate versus 28.6%. That's a difference of up 6.9%. Total tests, 31 versus 35. Yeah, testing's down slightly. Yeah, you're not doing much testing, but that is a legitimate increase at this time, so that is not good to see. And let's go to somewhere that is going green, and that is Idaho. And Idaho this week reports a positivity rate of 28% versus 40%. That's down by 12%. 25 tests versus 15. So testing did go up and the positivity rate dropped. I think it's safe to say your cases at this point are dropping. All right, let's go over to wastewater scan real quickly, and we'll take a look at the national level. If we can get this to come up, here we go. Here's the national level on wastewater scan, and we do note that COVID is still listed at high at this time, but take a look here. Wastewater scan did have a wonky movement down. I think that will get corrected. It is dropping slightly, but I doubt it is dropping that fast. RSV, very, very low at this time, but early stages of a little bit of a rise. Influenza A, influenza B, not much of an issue at this time. HMPV, not much of an issue. Norovirus is low at this time. And the other viruses on here we're not too concerned with at the moment. You know what? Let's just do all the regions. The Midwest region, COVID, wonky movement downward on the most recent update, but overall it has been trending up. RSV is low. Influenza A is at the early stages of starting to rise. Influenza B, not an issue right now, all low still. HMPV and norovirus are low at this time. Moving on now to the next region, the Northeast. And the Northeast continues to be problematic for COVID. No, it is not literally going straight up, but there's a wonky movement upward. Even if that gets corrected, it may still show that there is somewhat of a rise in the Northeast. Once again, RSV, not much of an issue. Influenza A, influenza B, HMPV, and norovirus are all low at this time. In the South, let's take a look here. Hopefully we continue to have good news in the South. Yes, COVID levels continue to drop in the South. RSV levels are low. Influenza A, influenza B, HMPV, norovirus is, though, in the medium compared to all the others that are in the low. COVID still listed as high at this time. And in the West Coast, we do note that COVID levels are starting to drop some. They're still in the medium category, but they're not high anymore. RSV is dropping actually a little bit right now in the most recent update. Low levels for that. Low influenza A, low influenza B, and HMPV is low. Norovirus is listed as high, but it is dropping at this time. Starting this weekend, we're going to start to see some micro surges in college towns or places surrounding NFL football areas. The NFL will probably not be till the following week because that's when NFL starts, but college football does kick off this weekend, and as we know, there are some stadiums that get 75 to even over 100,000 people, so it's a big deal, and with levels being so high right now, there's a good chance that it's going to cause cases, and the threat of you encountering someone being positive, well, let's just say Penn State University. Now, they're playing away this weekend, but when they do have their home game and it goes over 100,000 people, the chance of one person being infected at that point, yeah, it's 100%. All right, moving on now to New Jersey. New Jersey for today did report their hospitalizations, and I believe it is 68 out of 70 hospitals reported today. And I do believe the hospital number corrected itself. There it is. Yeah, 560 people in the hospital. It's still stubbornly high. 9 people on a ventilator in the ICU at this time. That number is still too high as well, with 63 people in the ICU, and I think that may be the highest number that we have seen for the ICU since the start of this summer wave. I don't recall reporting it that high. I remember 40s and 50s. I don't recall 63, but hey, what do I know? Taking a look at New York State for today, and New York State cases, they're actually up ever so slightly from the previous week, which is, I don't want to say concerning, but it's just a sign that it's going to take a long time for things to drop, simply because of the fact that back to school is starting up. Now we still have end of summer activities, and this KP.3.1.1 variant is extending things. 1,271 new cases. I believe last week at this time was just slightly less than that. And you can see here on the chart, it's not really dropping all that fast. New York State hospitalizations to end the day were up slightly compared to yesterday, with 1,225 people in the hospital and 131 people in the ICU. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Wednesday edition of the Pandemic Update. We will probably have another update again tomorrow. If not, I'll advise you on X and Blue Sky and over on Counter Social as to whether or not we're having an update tomorrow, but we likely will. If you're new here, subscribe down below, give this a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share these videos with anyone you know. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe everyone, and have a fantastic Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for watching.